This whole story is set after the events with Granola, a couple of years later to be exact. On a day like any other, deep in Paozu Mountain, Goku was in the middle of his daily training. At that moment, the weather was serene as Goku was perfecting his fighting techniques. However, the tranquility was suddenly interrupted when a bright flash lit up the sky, something he would notice almost immediately. Following that, several mysterious portals began to appear and open up around Paozu Mountain. Goku frowned instinctively because he was alert to such an unexpected situation in the middle of his training. Because of that, Goku remained on guard as the portals continued to appear, as he had realized that those portals were emanating an unknown and powerful energy. What is all that? That was what Goku was wondering as he looked at the various portals that had appeared around the area. Due to his curious attitude, he couldn't help but go and see what it was all about. So without waiting another second, he quickly flew away from his home. It didn't take him long to reach one of the portals that had appeared, and he would stare at it to try to understand it. I think I've seen these kinds of portals before, or at least something similar. Surely it must lead somewhere else. Will it be dangerous if I find out where it takes me? Goku was quite interested about the origin of those portals, and since he didn't feel that they were a danger to him, he decided to enter that portal to see where it took him. Once he had crossed the portal, he would notice that the atmosphere was similar to that of a large cave, which seemed strange to him. On top of that, he would not sense the energy of any of his friends, which was quite strange, since he could sense the power of any of them on Earth. There was only one explanation for that, and that was that the portal had taken him to another world. I think I understand better what these things do, but why did all these portals appear out of nowhere? While Goku was thinking about it, he realized that he was not alone in that place, because he felt some energies approaching him. They were some goblins, who rushed to attack him with daggers. However, it was enough for Goku to use one of his fingers to stop them. I already thought it was strange that there was no one in this place, but I can see that they have murderous intentions, so I can't let them stay here. After saying that, Goku would hit each of the goblins that had come to attack him. After receiving those attacks, the goblins fell to the ground lifeless, as they were quite weak compared to Goku. That would surprise Goku a bit, as he didn't expect to kill them with those attacks. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I overdid it. But shortly after finishing them off, Goku would suddenly have a strange feeling in his body, as if something was changing in his powers. This was because he was experiencing his first awakening in his body, which was given to people who were able to face the enemies of the portals, better known as dungeons. This awakening calculated the amount of energy in the person to determine his rank as a hunter, which could be determined from rank E to rank S, the latter being the most powerful rank. Although at the moment it was unknown what rank had been given to Goku, since it was difficult to calculate it with his power level. Goku did not understand very well what was happening, but he could perceive that somehow his powers had been enhanced, and also that they had changed a little for him. Truly, this place is out of this world. I haven't felt anything like this, but somehow I feel like I got stronger after going through this kind of power. Goku would perform some attacks to test how much his strength had changed, realizing that his speed had been boosted. In addition to that, it seemed that his body had acquired some powers, such as summoning fire of great magnitude from his range. This would leave him impressed, as he didn't think his body had acquired those kinds of powers. I better keep investigating what else is in this place. Goku would go even deeper into that dungeon to find out what kind of enemies were in that place, as he could sense that there were murderous presences up ahead. In that way, he would encounter other creatures such as orcs, werewolves, and even lizards that walked on two legs and were large. However, these creatures did not represent a danger to Goku, who would wipe out everything in his path. Although he was not used to killing his enemies, he was forced to do so, since it was dangerous for them to come out of the portal and cause chaos in his world. And since they were creatures that didn't seem to reason, he ended up eliminating them quickly. I wonder if I will also have to take care of the other portals that appeared besides this one, since if there are creatures in each of them, it means that they can also come out of them. While Goku was wondering about that, he continued walking through the dungeon, noticing that the place didn't seem to disappear no matter how many creatures he killed. Do I have to do something special to make this place go away? It's fun to fight these things, but I don't want to get stuck in this weird place. After a while, Goku would end up coming across a giant door, which seemed to hold something important. He thought that maybe it was the end of the road, and with that he could close the portal, so he didn't hesitate to open the door. Phew! I think I'll finally be able to put an end to this. I wouldn't want to miss dinner. Once the huge door had opened, Goku would only find several statues around the place, which he found quite disappointing, since he had hoped to find a way to end the dungeon. Is this really the only thing here? A bunch of statues? Since there didn't seem to be anything interesting at first glance, Goku started to look more closely at the place, realizing that there was something written. However, it seemed to be written on a sign held by one of the statues. What is this? I think it says something important, but I don't understand what language this is in. There were several strange symbols on that stone tablet, which Goku would try to understand, but he seemed to have a hard time. After a while, those symbols seemed tedious, so he decided to look for another way. These things are more for Bulma. I thought I would just have to fight, but there are weird puzzles. As Goku prepared to leave through the giant door he had entered, it would end up closing suddenly. Apparently the place didn't want him to leave, since he hadn't done the challenge yet. Strange. It's as if this place knew I wanted to leave. At that instant, Goku's senses became alert as he felt something trying to attack him from behind. It was the statues that had figures of knights who were using their giant stone swords to attack him, as they should not allow him to escape. However, Goku would shatter the stone knight's swords, causing a strong tremor as he did so. What's wrong with these things? As Goku wondered that, the larger statue would turn its gaze towards him and stare at him intently. Goku would notice that, realizing that this statue seemed to have life in it. Are you the one in charge? Goku would ask as he started to head towards that giant statue. But the statues that had attacked earlier would again approach to hit Goku, only this time with their fists. But Goku would stop the fists of both stone statues with his bare hands. But in spite of that, the giant statue would only stare at Goku intently, without changing its expression. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you leave me no choice. A few seconds after saying that, Goku quickly smashed the statues that tried to hit him with a single kick. That would raise quite a bit of dust in that place, which gradually dissipated. And once the atmosphere calmed down, Goku would notice that the statue hadn't taken its eyes off him, even after destroying 2 of his soldiers. It doesn't seem to care about the rest of the statues. Maybe it's not quite alive. When Goku looked at the place again, he noticed that the stone tablet that was held by a statue was now more translated to him. This struck him as odd, as it was recently in a language he did not recognize. When did this thing change? As suspicious as that seemed, Goku would read what it said, as perhaps with that he could close the portal. Apparently, there were 3 important rules to pass the statue challenge, which were to kneel before God, praise God, and prove your faith before God. Otherwise, no one would be able to get out. Goku would think for a while about what he had just read, and he would come to the conclusion that the god must be that giant statue, just because it was the biggest one. I have no idea if those instructions are reliable, and the truth is that the idea of praising him doesn't appeal to me, but I don't lose anything by trying. Goku did not take long to approach the giant statue, only to then kneel down as the instructions indicated. Although since nothing was happening, Goku wondered if that was just a bad joke. Did I do something wrong? It was supposed to work. Shortly after saying that, the giant statue changed its expression to a smiling one, but one that showed quite a bit of malice. Goku thought the statue was making fun of him for what he was doing, but he just didn't care. Then that statue rose from its throne. That would allow Goku to understand that following the rules had actually worked, and now he had to follow the second rule. Okay, what's next? I think I should praise him, but I don't know how I should do it. As Goku wondered that, the statue would slowly approach him and try to crush him. Because of that, Goku stepped back to dodge it, as he still didn't want to destroy that statue. Without realizing it, Goku had ended up right where a statue with an instrument was, which was activated when it detected him nearby. Apparently that was what he had to do to praise that giant statue, because after the musical statue was activated, he had calmed down a bit. Sure, I understand. A few seconds later, Goku quickly activated the rest of the musical statues, thus completing the second rule. That would make the giant statue return to its throne, now waiting for the third rule to be fulfilled. In the center of the place, a kind of altar appeared, where Goku was to test his faith. This looks simple, I just have to stand in the center, right? Goku said as he placed himself in the center of the place, where a flame of fire would be activated, followed by several more but of blue color. In addition to that, all the remaining statues began to approach him, but besides all that, the blue flames were going out one by one, as if on a timer. The test was clear. Goku had to hold on to that spot until the rest of the flames were extinguished. Realizing that, Goku simply smiled excitedly. Okay, this is interesting. The various statues would attack Goku with their axes and spears at the same time, while Goku would dodge their attacks with great agility, only to then smash their weapons with his own fists. This thrilled Goku, since he was not one to make riddles, he just wanted to fight. The minutes passed little by little, and Goku was destroying each one of the statues. You could see the stone heads and arms fall off their bodies, all while the blue flames were extinguished. When only one blue flame remained, Goku had finished with the statues. Only their remains were left on the floor. That did look like fun to me. When the last blue flame was finally extinguished, a blue announcement would come out in front of Goku, which congratulated him for fulfilling the conditions to become a player. Now he had to agree to become one, or else his heart would stop, or so the announcement said. Goku hadn't seen anything like this before, but he didn't like the idea of that thing doing something to his body, as he had experienced a disease in his heart some time ago. If this is the only way to close the portal that leads to this place, I guess I should do it. Besides, I don't think anything bad will happen if I accept this, right? And at that moment, Goku finally pressed the accept button, thus becoming the player of the game system, not knowing what awaited him.